In the first reading today, we have the beginning of the book of Thessalonians. So kind of like a historical context. This is probably the earliest New Testament writing that we have, around 50 AD or so. But one of the things that Paul is setting up, so he had visited the Thessalonians multiple times. And so he had first started the church there, then he had to flee. And so he's on his way coming back, and he's commending them for what they are doing. And so one of the things that he is very keen on, and this is, I think, very important, especially for evangelization, kind of looking at the focus missionaries here a little bit, but when we are trying to evangelize or trying to help someone come back to Christ, the first thing we must do is pray for them. And that's what Paul is telling them. He's been praying for them constantly. And that's what we're called to do, is to pray constantly for those, especially those who have fallen away, or we are in the midst of getting ready to evangelize. He also calls to mind the theological virtues of faith, hope, and charity. Those are the guiding principles of how we are to live our life and to inspire others to live their lives according to Christ. Today's feast day is Saint Louis the Ninth. And one of the things that was so big for him, from a very young age, he was raised, it would be better to die than to commit a mortal sin. And he truly brought the French Catholic community to great prominence by his devotion, his piety, and his desire to strive towards excellence. Because unlike the Pharisees that Jesus is calling out in the gospel, we're called to not be hypocrites, but we're called to conform ourselves to the cross, to conform ourselves to what Christ has instructed us to do. It reminds me of the parable of the talents, the workers with the talents. For much that is given, more will be asked of. And King Louis IX is certainly a great example of this. He brought the church to another crusade to bring back the Holy Land. He was also imprisoned during the crusade by the Muslims. But because of his mercy to the enemy, when they captured Muslims, the practice was to kill them. But he said, no, we will not kill them, and give them mercy. And so he was well respected, even though he was an enemy of the Muslim nations. But he calls, in a letter to his son, he says, yes, you are a king, but you must conform yourself to the heart of Christ in everything you do. And that's what we do each time we come here to Mass. It's to conform ourselves to the heart of Jesus. Because by our baptism, we are called to a kingship as well. And more that is given to us, more is asked. So let us ask the Lord in this Mass to be able to give and bear good fruit in everything we do for others. For the glory of God, amen.